We have Miss Shannon Samsa. Are you here? Okay, please come forward. We're pen pals, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
We were.
We were.
I have the email.
Hi. I am Shannon Samsa. I've lived in Southaven my whole life. And to be completely honest, I would rather be anywhere else but here right now. I don't like attention. I don't like getting up in front of people. I'm not here for drama or politics. I'm here because I care about my community. I work in healthcare, and if I don't speak up, I don't know who's going to. Mayor, like you said, I emailed you in August with some pretty detailed concerns, and I appreciated your initial reply, but when I asked for documentation to support the claims being made, I never heard back from you. And now I've watched those concerns start to come true one by one. I was told there would be no noise issues and that all due diligence had been done, but both Southaven and Horn Lake residents are enduring like relentless turbine noise like Jason just talked about, so I won't get too much into that, but there was at least 18 turbines that started running in August, and although I was also assured they would not run 24/7, many are running 16 to 24 hours a day. And despite a claim that temporary air permit was in place, MDEQ confirmed there is no temporary air permit. They are using an exemption that allows them to bypass public notice, a public comment period, and air monitoring for up to a full year. We were told they have our best interests in mind, but this facility will emit more pollution than any other in Southaven and possibly the county. DeSoto is already the only county in Mississippi that is failing air quality standards for ozone, and that is per the American Lung Association.
Yeah, let me just clarify that. There are several things that I'm going to help you with a little bit. A lot of that has to do, we're grouped in with West Memphis, Arkansas.
DeSoto County specifically.
So that is, our air quality has been addressed as a region, not just as it's not just DeSoto County, okay? The trucking industry is significant more, as we all know, in West Memphis. So we get grouped into that. So
I do know what you're talking about, but that's a separate measurement than the one that is the report card. The report card for DeSoto County specifically is a F, a failure for ozone, and it's a B for particulate matter. If we were grouped
right,
in one,
and I'm not going to get into specifics other than to tell you that is relevant to the mayor of the city because of economic development purposes. So I've been in many discussions about that. Okay, and a lot of that is what I'm telling you. It's not from something that's happening in DeSoto County. It's the Memphis Metro as a whole.
yeah, I agree with that. I agree that a lot of it is coming from Memphis.
But I'm going to let you speak because I don't want to take your time, so go ahead.
Okay, sure. xAI's own consultant submitted plans to add 41 permanent turbines and projections of 423 tons of nitrogen oxides per year. To put that into perspective, that is more than 4 times the amount the Southaven TVA plant produces annually. And that's with pollution controls, by the way. So these turbines are operating within 2 miles of more than 10 different schools with children whose lungs are still developing. They're, like Jason said, hundreds of feet from the nearest homes. Their own data shows emissions of multiple hazardous air pollutants, including formaldehyde, benzene, arsenic, chromium, all of which have no safe level of exposure. So even if it's a small amount, it's cumulative, and over time that matters. They're also emitting significant amounts of particulate matter, sulfur dioxide, and so many others. And as someone with 2 healthcare degrees, I just want to be really clear, these emissions are linked to serious, well-established health risks. Stroke, heart attacks, asthma, cancer, reproductive harm, pregnancy complications, and even things like dementia, Parkinson's, and mental health disorders. And those risks are especially dangerous in communities that are already struggling with air quality. People will die from this. I'm not saying that to be funny, I'm being serious. I have 2 healthcare degrees. I have extensive clinical knowledge. People will die from this. This is not safe. And another issue is the water. We were promised water recycling before operations began, so there would be no impact to the aquifer. Between September and October alone, xAI already used 99,000 gallons of water. I understand in relative terms, that's not a lot right now, but I don't know what's been used since, and their operations have clearly expanded. Now they have a data center which uses the majority of water, so that's another concern that I have. And we're told this is an economic win, but I can corroborate what Jason said from different sources. There are more than 250 workers being laid off at the warehouse that xAI just acquired. And on top of that, I didn't see a sewer fee on xAI's water bills, which raises questions about whether they're receiving the tax incentives through the West End program, which would exempt them from nearly all property taxes for 7 years, plus whatever financial incentives they might be receiving through the Chamber of Commerce or the state. I don't believe any of you or you, Mayor, intended to harm the community. I don't. I believe what you're saying, that you wouldn't invite someone here that intended to cause harm. But the city opened the door to xAI, not us, not MDEQ, not the state. This was a local decision that was made, and now we are living with the consequences of a choice that we had no say in. So I'll end with, you still have the power to do something about this and make this right, no matter what it may cost you. And I think that deep down, you know what is happening is wrong. But if nothing changes, the legacy left behind won't be beautification projects or skate parks. It will be the moment residents realize their health, their peace of mind, and their trust were sold off. Many of whom are here tonight asking for something very basic, like Jason mentioned, a public town hall, just a real public forum with real transparency. Will the city be responding to that request?
The city will talk to MDEQ is the official, as I've told you in the email, the official environmental quality agency. The permitting and the processes that occurred with this are done by MDEQ. Now, obviously, as I told you in an email, I would not, when this was first brought to my attention, I did my own research on what this is. And again, we're not going to debate tonight, but I disagree with your comments. I would not be an advocate for anything that was going to jeopardize the health of the people of Southaven.
I said I agree with
that.
that.
So you know, and I know I'm a much older man than you, but just so you know, the neighborhood you're referring to, that's the neighborhood I grew up in. I lived my whole life in that neighborhood. I went to Hope Sullivan School. My sports career started at Cherry Valley. You won't find one human being in the city that loves Colonial Hills like I love it, okay? Have a great history there. The last thing in the world, I wouldn't let this happen anywhere, but the last place I would let people's health be jeopardized would be in the neighborhood where I grew up.
And I believe you. I just think maybe you didn't understand the implications of this before agreeing to it.
So you're disagreeing with MDEQ, and that's what we're not going to get into. MDEQ
has not approved any permits except for a general construction permit.
You're getting into semantics because their formal processes allow them to use temporary turbines before the permanent permit is done for the permanent generator.
So your stance is the city could have done absolutely nothing about this. They can't speak out about it, nothing.
Yeah, I could have run the development away in cost. I'm going to get into the financials for you, okay?
Okay, sure.
So I'm going to make this real clear. And these are not all exact because, like I said, I'm not going to get ahead of xAI. They've proven that what they told me in early 2024 has happened, but there's a lot of unknowns still, so we don't know the exact numbers. But I'm just going to give you a hypothetical example. So the general fund, do you know how much the general fund is?
I don't.
Okay. So just the general fund in Southaven, Mississippi for this budget year is $83,316,000.
Okay.
Okay, so hypothetically, what has been announced so far, the financial impact to all the citizens in 2028, it would add over $20 million to the general fund, just this one development. Now, I've been a part of many great developments in my time here. There's never been a development that generated that kind of revenue. So the way the tax structure works, the city has a millage rate, city gets tax revenue because the business personal property they have will be taxed. Well, in addition to that, DeSoto County gets a comparable, actually a little bit less, and then the school system's millage rate is even higher than the city's. So when you look at this at the end of the day, just based on what has been announced thus far, it's going to insert $60 million into DeSoto County.
So they're
now
not.
You mentioned that you're an academic person. So you think about what that amount of money does to our schools. They're improving the schools, improving the teacher pay. Then from a city standpoint, do you know what I can do with the average total cost? You see these police officers around here. To put a not these are experienced people, but to put a brand new police officer on the streets about $125,000 a year. So if you give me $20 million, can you do the math in your head real quick?
So to be clear, they're not receiving the West End tax benefits. They're paying property taxes fully.
No, they have incentives. You don't bring a development of this magnitude without incentives.
No, I understand that, but you just said that they would be receiving.
This organization, they're around the world, they want to be Southaven. This is coveted around the world. These financial numbers, this is unprecedented in the state of Mississippi. Anybody around the world would love to have this development here. And that's what I'm trying to explain to you is that when I'm a steward of the money of the city of Southaven, I look out for the future of the city. When I see something that's going to improve the lives of the citizens of Southaven, when I look at a $20 million insertion in one budget year, I'm adding more police officers. I'm paving more streets. I'm adding more EMS personnel to protect you when you have a heart attack in your front yard. I'm improving the parks. All these traffic problems that people complain about every day, I'm fixing those. I'm not waiting on the federal government to give me some grant through the MPO program. I'm fixing them today in Southaven. So the amount of money, the financial benefits that our city and our county could potentially get from this is game-changing. In your lifetime, in my lifetime, it's never happened. So am I going to run something like that off? Absolutely not. Now, again, if there was objective evidence that it's going to cause health problems to the people, I would have been fighting it on day one.
Was a public health study
done? But that's
done?
when you and I disagree, because, and MDEQ disagrees
Was
with
a
you.
public health study done?
MDEQ is the, like I
MDEQ
said,
does not have doctors or medical professionals. Was a public health study done ahead of
MDEQ
time?
is the formal environmental protection agency in the state of Mississippi.
I'm aware
I
of
know
that.
you don't agree with them, and that's where we're going to end the discussion. The bottom line is you don't agree with what the experts say,
I don't agree
and I
that-
respect that, but I disagree with you. I would never allow a development to come to Southaven that harmed the people of this city. And the financial benefits of this are game-changing for these citizens and will pay huge dividends to the people of Southaven and DeSoto County for many years to come.
Not all money is good money, Mayor.
I respect your time. Thanks for coming forward. Okay,